Yeah, I think for the first game, I think I felt pretty good for the guys. I think there's some things here or there where we could be better, which is normal. But the guys played fast. The tempo was good. The accountability on what they're doing within the plays. I mean, for some of the guys, like we talked about heading into that game, it was going to be their first time. I thought they handled it well and kept the emotions, and I didn't think the game seemed too big for the young guys.
Hey Matt, I want to ask you about a specific play. Early in the second half, they had an option route for Travis Kelce, and Pat kind of pumps it and stops, and then throws to Rasheed behind him. I just wonder what you saw from Rasheed on that play, and kind of what went into that big play.
Yeah, he has a feel and zone on that particular play, and Pat does a great job of being able to just kind of feel what the defense is going to do, how they're going to play it. And it's just two playmakers making plays. Rasheed's doing a great job of catching the ball first, getting vertical, and when you have two good players like that, it just brings the defense in, and then he was able to throw it behind him.
Is that kind of an indication of maybe where Rasheed has come from a year ago to make kind of a feel sort of play like that?
I believe so. I go back to, I forget which game it was earlier in the year where he had a particular play, Rasheed, where him and Pat were off just a bit within the first 4 or 5 games. And we came back a game or two later, and we ran a similar play, and they were on. And I feel like that's almost, you could almost go back to that one play for Rasheed's career with Pat and from last year and say that was kind of the start. Now it's happening naturally on all plays, and I think you felt that the first game.
There was been some early talk about Xavier and press. Just how important is it to maybe get him some looks where it's not even a pass play, it's a reverse, and you're able to get him with a head of steam?
It's critical because he's a playmaker with the ball in his hands. Most defenses that you talk to, they always are concerned about the speed element from players, defensive coordinators. And when he, what he did at Texas and what he's able to do here this first game, it's important to get him going. I mean, he's a special player, but again, he has a ways to go. And so he made a nice play on the catch down the sideline. But it's our job to make sure that, the beautiful thing is we got a lot of tools to be able to work with the players, and he's a big part of that.
Matt, Noah Gray, is there something about him, about his skill set that sort of makes him a nice combo when you guys, with Travis, when you guys go to the 2 tight end stuff you do?
Yeah, his ability to be the U tight end and run routes and the Y tight end for us and block and be able to do both of them really well, I think stands him apart from a lot of guys in this league. On top of that, you hear me talk a lot about the trust factor of guys being in the right spot at the right time. To be honest with you, I'm not sure if there's another player on the team that really is at the right spot at the right time within this offense than what Noah does. And it might not always show up in the newspaper or online, but he does a lot of great stuff.
Do you have an example of a play from the game the other night?
I'd have to go back, and I'm so past that game. I can't think right now exactly of a specific play, but they're everywhere. And so sometimes he gets the ball, sometimes he doesn't. But I do know for Patrick to be able to have a guy that he knows that he can trust. If Kelce's out on a play, he knows he'll be in the right spot. If Kelce's in, and he knows what Noah can do, so it's very valuable.
Have you had a guy like that? I mean, I know you were gone those years in Chicago, but have you had a guy like that in the time you've been here, either before or after?
We've had a lot of good guys, different roles at that position, but I think for him, when you tie in both parts of it and just the consistency of what he's done, it's sneaky. I was happy for him the other day when he was able to stay here for a while in Kansas City, because he's a valuable asset, and I think he knows how much we appreciate him, and it's really cool to see somebody work hard that's been drafted here that gets rewarded, and it's just a win-win across the board. But not many like him. He's a great player.
We've seen you use Isaiah between the tackles. Everyone knows he can run, but how much more advanced maybe is he this year where he can be used as like a clear-out type of player and motion even pre-snap?
It's great because he's a weapon, and teams know that when you can catch the football downfield in the flat and run as hard as he does and do those things, you're able to be multiple in what you do. And so teams got to be aware of that. And I think mentally he's done a great job of being able to really digest what we want to do with him, and he can just keep growing within this offense.
Nick?
Yeah, what do you have to be mindful of with the Lou Anarumo defense?
With the what?
With Lou Anarumo's defense.
Oh, yeah. Well, he does a lot of different things really well. Great disguises. Not a lot of tendencies. And I just think that that's proven to who he is as a defensive coordinator his whole career. There's been some phenomenal matchups that we've had with him. And he's got players that you can tell play fast and they know what they're doing. So you put that combination together, and I just have a lot of respect for him, and he does a lot of great things.
Todd? I'll ask you about a couple of the new guys as well. Kingsley, how did he grade out for you guys?
I thought he did well. That's not an easy stage to be on, that first game against that defense, but there's some growing for sure, technique-wise, fundamentally. But for the most part, if you ask me, first game to come out of that game, him playing that way, I'd take that all day long.
And P-Ron was just here for a little bit, but he got in there and had to catch him real close on the other one. What was it like to have him just for a short time and get him out there?
It was great because going into that week, it's such short notice of really our plays, our offense, our lingo, our language. And I knew from the first couple of days of him being here that he was going to be able to do enough of what we needed him to do for that game. Now we get into this week and he's able to digest more and kind of understand this language, and now we're able to feel a little bit more comfortable and just get to see how much we want to continue to use him.
That little swing pass, I don't know how you guys grade things. You grade that a drop? Was it not a drop? How does that go?
That was a tough one. Where we were, not many reps between those two guys on that type of throw. He's only been here so long, and so that's a tough one because it was accurate, it was there, but yet not easy. It was wide, and he put one hand out, but there's a lot of trust in him and Pat that if we do that again, that they'll make the play.